The U.S. Intrepid slipped through space, using the gravitational fields of nearby stars to mask its approach to the Gyrathi homeworld. On the bridge, Admiral Reeves watched the viewscreen as the red giant star grew larger. "Status report," he ordered quietly. "The diversion is working," Carter replied from her tactical station. "Long-range sensors show most of the Gyrathi fleet has moved to engage Commander Val and XO Mitchell at the shipyard." "Atlas, what about the control hub's defenses?" The AI's hologram appeared. "Still substantial, Admiral. 8 capital ships and 16 defensive platforms." Reeves nodded. It wouldn't be easy, but they had come too far to turn back now. "Take us in, maximum stealth approach." As they neared the massive space station, Reeves prepared a small strike team. He would lead them himself, along with Chief Engineer Rodriguez, Zeiler, and 4 security officers. Their mission was to reach the central core of the ancient AI, while the Intrepid kept the defending ships busy. "Last transmission from the diversionary fleet," Carter reported. "They've engaged the enemy but are taking heavy losses." Reeves closed his eyes briefly. Mitchell and Vale were buying them time with their lives. "Bring us into position," he ordered. "Prepare to deploy the strike team." The Intrepid accelerated suddenly, charging toward the space station. The defending ships scrambled to intercept, but they were too slow. The human warship launched its attack, phase disruptors firing with precision at the station's hangar base. "Shields at 60%, Carter called out as return fire struck the Intrepid. "Hold position," Reeves commanded. "Deploy strike team." A small shuttle launched from the Intrepid, speeding toward a breach in the station's outer hull. Inside, Reeves and his team prepared their weapons. "The shuttle will return to the Intrepid once we're inside," he told them. "We have 2 hours to reach the core and disable the eye." They docked at the breach and entered the station. The corridors were eerily quiet. "Most of the crew has been called to defend against us," Zeiler explained. "But the internal security systems will be active." As if on cue, automated defense turrets emerged from the walls. The team took cover as energy blasts filled the corridor. "Rodriguez, can you hack their systems?" Reeves asked. "Working on it," the engineer replied, connecting his device to a nearby terminal. Meanwhile, on the Intrepid, Lieutenant Nelson had taken command. She skillfully maneuvered the ship between enemy vessels, preventing them from concentrating their fire. "Atlas, can you reach Admiral Reeves?" she asked as another hit rocked the ship. "Negative. There's interference from the station's systems." Inside the station, Reeves and his team fought their way deeper, following Ziller's directions toward the central core. They encountered scattered resistance but pushed through. Finally, they'd reached a massive chamber. In its center floated a pulsating crystalline structure connected to countless conduits and cables. "That's it," whispered Zeiler. "The ancient eye." As they approached, a door hissed open. Supreme Commander Krall stepped into the chamber, weapon raised. "I knew you would come here," he said, his yellow eyes blazing with anger. "Did you think I would leave our most sacred site undefended?" "This isn't your sacred site," Reeves replied, lowering his weapon slightly. "It's your prison. You're being controlled, just like everyone else." Krall hesitated. "Lies. Look around you," Reeves urged. "Why would your ancestors build a control system to dominate their own minds?" As doubt crept into Krall's eyes, Atlas spoke through Rodriguez's communicator. "Admiral, I can interface with the AI, but I need direct access." Rodriguez stepped forward, but Krall raised his weapon again. "Wait," Reeves said. "Commander Krall, your people weren't always conquerors. This machine changed you. Help us free your species." A long moment passed before Krall lowered his weapon. "What must I do?" With Krall's help, they reached the central interface. Rodriguez connected Atlas to the ancient system, and a silent battle of artificial intelligences began. Throughout the Empire, the psychic control field flickered and died. On countless worlds, enslaved species felt their minds clear for the first time in generations. The Gyarathi fleet stopped fighting, confusion spreading among crews suddenly freed from centuries of influence. 3 days later, Admiral Reeves stood on the bridge of the damaged but intact Intrepid as it began its long journey home. "Message from Earth, sir," Communications Officer Patel announced. "They've received our transmissions. They're eager to meet our new allies." Reeves smiled as he looked at the view screen, where ships from dozens of species, including Gyarathi vessels, accompanied them as an honor guard. "Tell them we're bringing friends," he said, "and a whole new galaxy." The hidden base of the Resistance was carved into the moon of an uninhabited gas giant. Ships of various designs and origins filled its landing bays, the remnants of the fleet that had escaped Krall's trap. The U.S. Intrepid occupied the largest dock, its once gleaming hull now scorched and damaged. Inside, the mood was somber as the crew mourned their fallen comrades. Admiral Reeves stood alone in the small room they had turned into a memorial. 6 photos of fighter pilots and Lieutenant Commander Wood's image looked back at him from the wall. He touched Wood's picture gently. "I'll make this right," he whispered. In engineering, Chief Engineer Rodriguez hadn't slept in 3 days. He moved from one repair team to another, pushing everyone to work faster. "The power couplings on Deck 3 are still offline," he told a tired technician. "We need them back now." XO Mitchell found him there and pulled him aside. "You need rest, Alan." Rodriguez shook his head. "Not until this ship can fight again." "Wood wouldn't want you to kill yourself," she said softly. Rodriguez paused, his shoulders slumping. "He was my friend." "He was all of our friend," Mitchell replied. "And we'll honor him by surviving this." In the command center, Zeller and Commander Val were deep in conversation when Reeves entered. They fell silent, their expressions grave. "What is it?" Reeves asked. Zeller hesitated before answering. "There may be a way to strike at the heart of the Gyarathi Empire." Val nodded. "We analyzed the data we gathered before the trap. It confirms something my people have suspected for generations." He activated a holographic display showing a massive space station orbiting a red giant star. "This is the Gyarathi homeworld system," Val explained. "And this station is the hub of their psychic suppression network. It broadcasts the control signal to every Gyarathi ship and outpost. If we could disable it," Zeller began, "every subjugated species would be freed from control," Reeves finished. "But the station is defended by the largest fleet in the Empire," Val warned. "A direct assault would be suicide." Reeves studied the hologram. "Then we don't assault it directly. We slip past their defenses." XO Mitchell, who had joined them, looked skeptical. "How? The Intrepid isn't exactly small or stealthy." "We create a diversion," Reeves said. "A big one." Over the next few days, a plan formed. The remaining resistance fleet, led by Commander Val and XO Mitchell, would attack a major Gyarathi shipyard. Meanwhile, the Intrepid would use the chaos to approach the homeworld and strike at the control hub. As the day of the mission approached, Supreme Commander Krall paced the bridge of the repaired Dominion. He had expected the humans to flee the sector after their defeat, but intelligence suggested they were planning something else. "They will attack here," he told his officers, indicating the shipyard. "It is their only logical target." An officer spoke up. "And if they target the homeworld instead?" "Impossible," Krall said dismissively. "Even these humans aren't foolish enough to attack the heart of our empire." Nevertheless, increased the home fleet by 20%. What Krall didn't know was that the Intrepid's AI, Atlas, had infiltrated the Gyarathi network during their last battle. As the Resistance finalized their plans, Atlas made a disturbing discovery. "Admiral," the AI reported to Reeves in private, "I found something in the Gyarathi central database." "What is it?" Reeves asked. "The Gyarathi leaders themselves appear to be controlled by something else, an ancient artificial intelligence system buried beneath their homeworld surface." Reeves stared in shock. "Are you saying the entire empire is being manipulated?" "Yes," Atlas confirmed. For at least 3,000 years, the Gyarathi were once peaceful. This system turned them into conquerors. The revelation changed everything. As Reeves briefed his officers, he emphasized a new point. This isn't just about saving ourselves or even freeing the subjugated species, he said. It's about freeing the Gyarathi themselves. We're not going to destroy their civilization. We're going to save it. The day of the attack arrived. The Resistance fleet jumped toward the shipyard, weapons blazing. Supreme Commander Krall rushed to meet them with his main fleet. Meanwhile, the U.S. Intrepid, its repairs barely complete, set course for the Gyarathi homeworld and the true enemy that waited there. Supreme Commander Krall stood before a holographic display of a small outpost at the edge of the Venzeri system. The outpost appeared only lightly defended, with minimal shield generators and a skeleton crew. The bait is set, Krall told his officers. Our intelligence suggests the humans and their new allies will strike here next. Is it not risky to leave such a valuable outpost so poorly defended? Asked his second-in-command. Krall's yellow eyes narrowed. That is precisely what they must believe. The energy signatures showed just enough to convince them it contains valuable research data. He pointed to positions around the outpost. Meanwhile, our fleet will wait here, and here. When they attack, we will spring the trap. At the hidden Sakari base, the U.S. Intrepid had joined with a ragtag fleet of resistance ships. Most were small and lightly armed, but together they formed the largest opposition that Gyarathi had faced in centuries. In the Sakari Command Center, Admiral Reeves and Commander Val studied intelligence reports with Ziller and other resistance leaders. This outpost appears to be conducting biological research, Val explained, pointing to a holographic image. Our sources indicate they're developing new control methods for subjugated species. It's also lightly defended, added Zyler. Only 2 patrol ships and basic defensive systems. Reeves looked at XO Mitchell. What do you think? Mitchell studied the data carefully. It feels too easy. Combat Systems Officer Carter, who had accompanied them, nodded in agreement. These energy readings don't match standard Gyarathi research stations. Some signatures are being masked. Could be a trap, Lieutenant Commander Wood suggested. Val shook his head. Or it could be hiding their research. This could be our chance to discover how their control systems work. After much debate, they decided to proceed with the attack. The Intrepid would lead a force of 15 Sakari and Lemurian vessels. They approached the outpost cautiously, weapons ready. Still no additional Gyarathi ships on scanners, Carter reported from her station. Something isn't right, Mitchell muttered. As they moved into attack position, Carter suddenly sat up straight. Sir, energy spikes all around us. Before Reeves could respond, 30 Gyarathi warships decloaked, surrounding the Intrepid and its allies. At their center was the massive Dominion, Supreme Commander Krall's flagship. All ships, evasive maneuvers. Reeves shouted, full power to shields. The trap had been sprung. Gyarathi weapons fire filled space, striking several of the smaller Allied vessels and destroying them instantly. The Intrepid shuddered as multiple hits hammered its shields. Shields at 30% and falling. Carter reported, we can't take much more of this. 3 Sakari ships exploded nearby. The remaining allies tried to scatter, but the Gyarathi formation was too tight. We need to create an opening, Reeves said grimly. He turned to Rodriguez. Is the Phoenix Protocol ready? Rodriguez looked shocked. Sir, that's our last resort weapon. We've never field tested it. If we don't use it now, there won't be another chance, Reeves replied. Rodriguez nodded and began the activation sequence for the experimental weapon. All Allied ships moved to coordinates Alpha 3. Reeves ordered over the comm. We're creating an exit path. The Intrepid turned to face the largest concentration of Gyarathi ships, including the Dominion. Phoenix Protocol activated, Rodriguez announced. Ready on your command. Fire, ordered Reeves. A small projectile launched from the Intrepid, appearing harmless as it drifted toward the enemy fleet. Seconds later, it detonated, creating a swirling blue vortex that expanded rapidly. The subspace rift tore into 7 Gyrathi ships, pulling them apart as space itself distorted around them. The Dominion, further back, escaped the worst effects, but still suffered significant damage. "The rift is destabilizing our own systems," Rodriguez shouted as alarms blared across the bridge. "All hands, evacuate decks 4 through 7. Mitchell ordered. As the Phoenix Protocol created enough chaos for the Allied ships to escape, the Intrepid itself was rocked by internal explosions. A support beam crashed down on the bridge, striking Lieutenant Commander Wood. "Medical team to the bridge," Reeves called out, rushing to Wood's side. But it was too late. Wood's eyes stared unseeing at the ceiling. The Intrepid limped away from the battle, carrying its dead and wounded. They had escaped Krall's trap, but at a terrible cost. The U.S. Intrepid hid deep within a dense asteroid field, its systems powered down to minimum levels. Inside, repair crews worked around the clock to fix the damage from their battle at the supply depot. In the ship's main engineering section, Chief Engineer Rodriguez wiped sweat from his forehead as he sealed another damaged power conduit. "How bad is it?" Admiral Reeves asked as he entered the room. "We can restore shields to about 90% capacity," Rodriguez replied. "But the phase disruptors need new focusing crystals. We're fabricating replacements, but it will take time." Reeves nodded grimly. Time is something we may not have much of. In another section of the ship, Communications Officer Kevin Patol worked with Ziller to set up a special broadcast. They had configured the Intrepid's communication array to send messages on frequencies used by subjugated species across the sector. "The translation matrix is ready," Patol said, adjusting controls on his panel. "We can now broadcast in 14 different languages." Ziller nodded. "My people have communication networks that the Gyrathi never fully discovered. Others have similar systems. Your message will reach them." Reeves stepped into the communications room. "Let's give them something worth hearing." He stood before the recording device and spoke clearly. "To all people suffering under Gyrathi rule, you are not forgotten. You are not alone. We are humans from Earth, and we stand with you against oppression. The depot at Sector 7 was just the beginning. Together, we can end the Gyrathi Empire's reign of terror." As the message went out across the stars, Lieutenant Commander Wood trained the rescued Lumerians in a converted cargo bay. He showed them how to use basic human weapons and taught them fighting tactics. "The Gyrathi rely on fear," Wood explained to his attentive audience. "But their soldiers aren't invincible. Target their neck joints. Their armor is weakest there." On dozens of worlds, beings who had lived in fear for generations gathered around hidden receivers and listened to the human message. Small acts of resistance began. Work slowdowns in the mines. Sabotaged equipment. Guards found unconscious. Supreme Commander Krall's rage grew with each report of insurrection. On the bridge of his massive flagship, he executed an officer who had failed to capture rebel leaders on a mining world. "These humans have inspired hope," he snarled to his remaining officers. "Hope is dangerous. Show them the cost of defiance." He gave a terrible order. 3 worlds where rebellion had taken hold were targeted with planet-killer weapons. Billions died as a lesson to others. When news reached the Intrepid, Reeves and XO Mitchell argued in the privacy of his ready room. "This is our fault," Mitchell said, her voice strained. "We encouraged them to fight back, and now they're being slaughtered." "No," Reeves replied firmly. "The Gyrathi did this. They've been doing it for centuries. We just showed people they don't have to accept it." "But sir, what can one ship do against an entire empire?" Mitchell asked. Before Reeves could answer, Atlas interrupted. "Admiral, we're receiving a transmission on a heavily encrypted channel. It's not Gyrathi." On the view screen appeared a thin, gray-skinned alien with 4 eyes. "I am Commander Vol of the Sikari Resistance," the alien said. "We have fought the Gyrathi from the shadows for 20 years. Your attack on their depot was Impressive. The Sakari? Xylar whispered. Their world was supposedly destroyed years ago. We survived, Vol continued. And we have bases hidden throughout the sector. Your actions have created an opportunity we cannot waste. I propose an alliance. Reeves stepped forward. We would welcome allies, Commander Vol. The Sakari commander nodded. Meet us at these coordinates. Come alone. As the transmission ended, Carter spoke up from her station. Sir, long-range sensors detect a massive fleet moving into the sector. It's the Gyrathi flagship Dominion, accompanied by at least 30 warships. Reeves looked at his officers. Their ship was damaged. They were outgunned, but now they had potential allies. Set course for the Sakari coordinates, he ordered. It's time to build an army. The U.S. Intrepid dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system housing the Gyrathi supply depot. The massive structure hung in space like an artificial moon, surrounded by defensive platforms and patrol ships. Scan complete, Carter reported from her tactical station. The depot has 23 defensive turrets and 5 patrol ships in rotation. Its shields are formidable. Admiral Reeves studied the holographic display. Any sign they've detected us? Negative. Sir, we're still outside their sensor range. Reeves turned to Chief Engineer Rodriguez. What about those shield modifications you were working on? Rodriguez nodded confidently. Atlas and I have analyzed the Gyrathi shield harmonics. Our quantum torpedoes can be recalibrated to match their frequency. He patted the console. Their shields will barely slow them down. And the fighters? Reeves asked. Lieutenant Olivia Nelson stepped forward. Ready, sir. 3 squadrons, primed for launch. Nelson was the Intrepid's best pilot and commanded the ship's fighter wing. Her confidence was infectious. Good. Reeves addressed the entire bridge. We hit them fast and hard. Fighters will target the patrol ships while we focus on the depot's defense systems. Once those are down, we deploy the quantum torpedoes. The plan set, the Intrepid accelerated toward the depot. As they crossed into Gyrathi sensor range, alarms blared throughout the enemy installation. Fighter squadrons, launch, ordered Reeves. The Intrepid's hangar doors opened, and sleek human fighters streamed into space. Lieutenant Nelson led the first squadron, her voice calm over the comm. Targets acquired. Engaging enemy patrols. The human fighters were smaller and more agile than the bulky Gyrathi vessels. They darted between enemy fire, their pilots executing maneuvers the Gyrathi had never seen before. On the Intrepid's bridge, Reeves watched as the first Gyrathi patrol ship exploded under concentrated fire from Nelson's squadron. Main weapons, target those defense turrets, he commanded. The Intrepid's phase disruptors fired, striking the depot's defensive turrets with precision. 3 exploded immediately, their shield harmonics no match for the recalibrated human weapons. The depot returned fire, energy beams lancing out toward the Intrepid. The ship shuddered as they impacted its shields. Shield status, Reeves demanded. Holding at 78%, Carter replied. Their weapons are more effective this time. They're learning, sir. Rodriguez's voice came over the comm. They're adapting to our shield frequency. I'm implementing random modulations. The battle intensified. Nelson's fighters had destroyed 3 patrol ships, but lost 4 of their own. The depot's remaining defense turrets focused on the Intrepid, hammering its shields. Shields at 42%, Carter warned. Get us closer, Reeves ordered. Prepare quantum torpedoes. The Intrepid pushed forward, taking hit after hit as it closed the distance. In range, Carter announced. Fire torpedoes, full spread. 6 quantum torpedoes launched from the Intrepid, their blue trails cutting across space. They passed through the depot's weakened shields as if they weren't there, striking critical systems. Massive explosions bloomed across the depot's surface. Secondary detonations followed as fuel cells and ammunition stores ignited. The structure began to break apart. Recall fighters, Reeves ordered. Prepare to jump to safety coordinates. As the fighters returned, the depot collapsed in on itself, the final explosion temporarily outshining the system's sun. The Intrepid jumped to safety, but not without cost. They had lost 6 fighters and their pilots. The ship itself had sustained moderate damage to its lower decks. In the aftermath, Reeves addressed the crew over the ship-wide comm. "Today we struck a blow against an empire that has terrorized this galaxy for centuries. We've shown them that humanity will not stand by while others suffer, but our fight has just begun." Throughout the subjugated worlds of the Gairethi Empire, word began to spread. A single ship had destroyed one of the Empire's largest supply depots. A new species had entered the galactic stage. On his flagship, Supreme Commander Krull received the news with cold fury. "No more hunting parties," he snarled to his officers. "I will take command personally." He stood, his imposing figure casting a shadow across the bridge. "Bring the Dominion and the entire Imperial fleet to the frontier. This human ship will be reduced to atoms." Deep within the central command of the Gairethi Empire, Supreme Commander Krull received the disturbing report. His yellow eyes narrowed as he watched the footage of the unknown vessel that had attacked his patrol ships. "Play it again," he ordered, his scaled fingers tapping against the arm of his command chair. The image showed his patrol ships firing on the strange vessel with weapons that should have torn it apart. Instead, the enemy shields had barely flickered. "What species is this?" Krull demanded. "Unknown, Supreme Commander," replied his second-in-command. "They match nothing in our records." Krull rose from his chair, his tall form towering over the other officers. In 300 years of conquest, the Gairethi had never failed. He had personally led 50 campaigns, subjugating entire civilizations. This unknown vessel was an insult to his perfect record. "Find them," he hissed. "Deploy the 4th Fleet. I want that ship captured intact." Aboard the U.S. Intrepid, the mood was cautiously optimistic. Lieutenant Commander Wood's team had returned with the rescued Lumerians, and the 3 Gairethi patrol ships had been disabled with minimal damage to the Intrepid. In the ship's conference room, Xyler spoke to the senior officers. "You do not understand what you have done. The Gairethi will never stop hunting you now. They were already hunting your people," Reeves pointed out. "At least now some of you are free." Xyler's large eyes blinked slowly. "My freedom means little when my world burns, but there is something strange about you humans. The Gairethi use a psychic field to control subjugated species. It should have affected me even here, but I feel clear-headed for the first time since they arrived." Atlas, the ship's AI, appeared as a hologram. "I have analyzed Xyler's brain patterns. It appears human brain waves create a counterfrequency that disrupts the Gairethi control field." Rodriguez leaned forward. "So humans are naturally immune to their control?" "It would appear so," Atlas confirmed. Reeves considered this new information. "That gives us an advantage. But we need to know more about what we're facing." Xyler touched a control panel, projecting a map of nearby space. "The Gairethi Empire controls all of this. 50 star systems, hundreds of planets. Their main supply depot for this sector is here." He pointed to a location 3 light-years away. XO Mitchell spoke up. "Admiral, we need to contact Earth. They should know what we're facing." "No," Reeves said firmly. "If we head back to Earth now, we'll just lead the Gairethi straight to our homeworld. We're not equipped to protect Earth from an empire this size." "So what do we do?" asked Carter. Reeves studied the map. "We buy time. Disrupt their operations. Show the oppressed species that resistance is possible." "A supply depot would make a good target," Wood suggested. As they planned their next move, across the sector, 20 Gairethi warships began their hunt for the mysterious vessel. On the bridge of his flagship, Dominion, Supreme Commander Krull reviewed the reports from the damaged patrol ships. "They call themselves humans," an intelligence officer reported. "The prisoners we captured from the mining station say they came in response to a distress call." "And their homeworld?" Krull asked. "Unknown," Supreme Commander, they were careful not to reveal its location. Krell smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. It doesn't matter. We will find these humans and add their technology to our own. Then we will find their homeworld and bring it under our control, just as we have done to all others. Back on the Intrepid, Reeves looked at his assembled officers. This ship represents the best of humanity. We may be just one vessel, but we carry with us the determination and ingenuity of our entire species. He pointed to the supply depot on the map. This is our target. We'll show the Girathi that humans aren't like the other species they conquered, and we'll give hope to everyone they've oppressed. Carter smiled. Reminds me of an old Earth saying, sir, pick on someone your own size. Oh, I think they'll find we're more than their size, Reeves replied. Prepare for battle stations. The U.S. Intrepid hovered at the edge of the Lumerian system, its sensors sweeping the area. Admiral Reeves watched the view screen with narrowed eyes as images of the Girathi ships appeared. They haven't noticed us yet, said Combat Systems Officer Donna Carter. Her fingers moved quickly over her console as she analyzed the enemy vessels. Their technology is advanced, but their sensor range seems limited. Let's keep it that way, Reeves replied. XO Mitchell, what's the status on that damaged Lumerian ship? Mitchell glanced up from her station. Failing fast, sir. Life support is critical. I count 6 life forms aboard. Reeves made his decision. Establish a tractor beam. Bring them into Bay 3 and have medical teams standing by. As the crew carried out his orders, Reeves called a meeting of his senior officers in the tactical room. Projected above the table was a holographic display of the system. I need options, Reeves said. We're outnumbered 30-1. Chief Engineer Alan Rodriguez spoke first. Those Girathi ships are impressive, but they're using an energy configuration I've never seen before. Atlas, and I might be able to find a weakness. Atlas, the ship's AI, materialized as a blue hologram. I've analyzed their communications. The Girathi have no knowledge of humans or Earth. They appear to consider themselves the supreme species in the galaxy. Lieutenant Commander Jason Wood leaned forward. That gives us an advantage, sir. My Special Forces team could board one of their mining stations. We could free some prisoners and gather intelligence. Before Reeves could respond, the medical bay called through. Admiral, one of the Lumerians is awake and asking to speak with you. In the medical bay, a thin creature with pale blue skin and large dark eyes sat on an examination table. Its 4-fingered hands trembled slightly. I am Xylar. It said in a voice translated by Atlas. You are not Girathi. What species are you? We're humans, Reeves answered. From Earth. Xylar's eyes widened. I have never heard of your kind. You have come just as our civilization falls. Tell me about the Girathi. They appeared 3 weeks ago. Our weapons were useless against them. They use us as slaves in the mines, searching for rare minerals. Xylar paused. You should leave before they find you. We came because we heard your distress call, Reeves said. We want to help. Xylar shook his head. No one can help. The Girathi Empire spans 50 star systems. All who resist are destroyed. Reeves returned to the bridge with new determination. Lieutenant Commander Wood, prepare your team. You're going to that mining station. Free as many Lumerians as you can and gather intelligence. 6 hours later, Wood's team deployed in a stealth shuttle. They approached the station, a massive structure orbiting Lumeria's third moon. We're in position, Wood reported over the secure channel. Beginning infiltration. The team entered through a maintenance airlock. Moving silently through the station, they encountered the first Girathi guards. Tall, reptilian beings with gray scales and yellow eyes. Wood's team stunned them before they could raise an alarm. Moving deeper into the station, they found holding cells filled with Lumerians. We're getting you out, Wood told them as his team disabled the locks. Meanwhile, on the bridge of the Intrepid, trouble was brewing. 3 Gyarathi patrol ships changing course, reported Carter. They're heading toward the mining station. Reeves grim. They've detected something. Alert Wood's team. Just as Wood received the warning, alarms blared throughout the station. We've been compromised, he reported. Moving to extraction point with 23 Lumerian prisoners. The Gyarathi patrol ships accelerated toward the station. They'll intercept Wood before he reaches the extraction point, Mitchell said. Reeves stood. Then it's time to introduce ourselves. Bring weapons online. Target the lead Gyarathi ship. The Intrepid emerged from hiding, its powerful engines flaring as it moved to protect the extraction team. For the first time, human weapons fire streaked across space toward the Gyarathi vessels. The lead ship took a direct hit from the Intrepid's phase cannons, and to everyone's surprise, its shields barely flickered. They're returning fire, Carter warned. The Gyarathi weapons struck the Intrepid's shields, and the bridge crew braced for impact. But the expected damage never came. Their weapons only reduced our shields by 8%, Carter said, astonished. Atlas's voice was calm. It appears Gyarathi weapon technology is not compatible with our shield harmonics. Reeves allowed himself a small smile. Fire again. Let's show them that humans aren't to be trifled with. The galaxy trembled under the iron grip of the Gyarathi Empire. For centuries, they had moved from system to system, conquering all who stood in their path. Their sleek black warships would appear in orbit without warning, and within days, once free worlds would fall silent. The Lumerian system was their latest prize. Just 3 weeks ago, it had been home to a peaceful civilization known for their art and philosophy. Now, the blue skies of their homeworld were choked with smoke as Gyarathi mining operations tore into the planet's crust. Far from this scene of conquest, the U.S. Intrepid glided silently through the void. Earth's newest warship represented the pinnacle of human engineering, a fusion of technologies that had taken decades to perfect. Its hull gleamed under the light of distant stars, the name U.S. Intrepid painted proudly along its side. On the bridge, Fleet Admiral Victor Reeves stood with his hands clasped behind his back. Tall and broad-shouldered, with gray hair cropped short, he watched the main view screen as it displayed the empty space ahead. "Status report," he said. "All systems nominal." "Admiral," replied Lieutenant Olivia Nelson from the helm. "We'll reach the diplomatic rendezvous point in approximately 72 hours." Reeves nodded. The Intrepid's maiden voyage was meant to be straightforward. Travel beyond the Sol system, establish contact with the Proxima Centauri colony, and return home. Earth was still new to interstellar travel, cautious about announcing its presence too boldly to whatever might be waiting in the depths of space. "Admiral," called Communications Officer Kevin Patel suddenly. "I'm picking up something strange, a signal on an unknown frequency." Reeves turned. "Source?" "Unknown, sir. It's weak, but it appears to be some kind of distress call." The bridge fell silent. First contact protocols were clear. Observe, report back. Do not engage without authorization. But a distress call changed things. "Let me hear it," ordered Reeves. A strange, warbling sound filled the bridge, punctuated by what could only be words in an alien language. Even without understanding, the desperation in the voice was unmistakable. "Can we translate?" asked Reeves. "The AI is working on it, sir," Paddle replied, fingers dancing over his console. "Getting fragments, something about help, and they destroy everything." Executive Officer Samantha Mitchell stepped closer to Reeves. With sharp eyes and her brown hair pulled back in a regulation bun, she was known for her strict adherence to protocol. "Sir," she said quietly, "our orders are clear. We're not authorized to deviate from our mission parameters." Reeves frowned. "Someone out there is asking for help. XO. With respect, Admiral, we don't know what we'd be walking into. The Intrepid is carrying Earth's most advanced technology. If we were lost." "If we ignore a cry for help," Reeves interrupted, What does that say about humanity's first steps into the galaxy? Before Mitchell could answer, the AI's smooth voice spoke. Translation complete, Admiral. The message played again, this time in English. To any who hear this, we are the last of the Lumerian people. The Gyarathi have taken our worlds, enslaved our people. Beware them. They will come for you next. Reeves didn't hesitate. Helm, track that signal to its source. All hands to battle stations. Sir, protested Mitchell, we should consult Earth Command first. By the time we get authorization, whoever sent that message could be dead. Reeves turned to face the entire bridge crew. I know the risks, but I won't let first contact for humanity be marked by turning our backs on those who need help. The Intrepid changed course, its powerful engines flaring as it accelerated toward the unknown. 3 days later, they arrived at the edge of the Lumerian system. What they found was worse than anything they could have imagined. Dozens of black ships surrounded the fifth planet, their designs alien and predatory. On the surface, massive mining operations scared the land. And in orbit, a small vessel, clearly damaged, drifted among debris. Life signs on the damaged ship, asked Reeves. Faint, but present, reported the sensor officer. They're dying, sir. Reeves stood, his decision made. Bring us in. It's time humanity introduced itself to the galaxy.